Taslima Nasrin returns after 19 years. Now, why is she back in the headlines? Imagine writing a book and then being forced to leave your own country. Imagine speaking your mind and living under death threats for decades. And now imagine returning to a city you once called home after 19 long years. Now, that's exactly what has happened with Taslima Nasrin. But the question here is that who is Taslima Nasrin? Why has she remained one of South Asia's most controversial literary figures, and why has her recent return rather, to Kolkata brought her back into the national conversation? Now, let us understand her extraordinary and deeply polarizing journey. Now, Taslima Nasreen is a Bangladeshi born writer, also a physician, feminist, and public intellectual. She first rose to prominence in the early 1990s through her novels, poetry, and newspaper columns that basically questioned patriarchy, religious orthodoxy, and the treatment of women in South Asia. But it was her 1993 novel Lajja that changed her life forever. The novel, which is set against the backdrop of communal violence in Bangladesh, depicted the struggles of a Hindu family. While many praised it as bold literary work, others accused her of hurting religious sentiments, and soon after protests erupted, death threats followed. A fatwa was issued against her, and in the year 1994, Taslima Nasreen left Bangladesh, beginning a life in exile that still continues even today. Over the next 3 decades, Taslima lived across Europe, the US, and also India. In 2004, she shifted to Kolkata, a city whose language, literature, and culture closely resemble her roots in Bangladesh. But peace didn't last long. Her autobiography triggered fresh protests, and in the year 2007, demonstrations turned violent, security concerns escalated, and she was compelled to leave Kolkata as well. Now, since then, she has largely lived in Delhi on a long-term residence permit while continuing to write about women's rights, secularism, freedom of expression, and also religious extremism. Supporters describe her as a fearless voice for human rights. Critics argue that some of her writings and public statements unfairly target religion and create social tensions. Now, that divide has followed her throughout her career. So why is everyone talking about Taslima Nasreen today? Because after 19 years, she has returned to Kolkata for a public literary event, calling it a return to a lost chapter of my life. Taslima became emotional as she addressed audiences in the city she has now described as her second home. Now, her visit has once again reignited debates around freedom of expression, secularism, sponsorship, and the place of dissent in democratic societies. Political leaders have also commented on her return, while security arrangements remained tight given the controversies that have surrounded her for many, many decades now. For many of her supporters, this return represents resilience. For her critics, it revives long standing disagreements over the boundaries of free speech and religious criticism. Either way, Taslima Nasreen has once again become the center of conversation that goes far beyond literature. Whether you agree with Taslima or disagree with her, one thing is undeniable here, which is that her life raises difficult questions. Can a writer truly be free? Where should the line between freedom of expression and religious sensitivity be drawn? And can our society protect both free speech and social harmony at the same time? As Taslima Nasreen returns to Kolkata after nearly 2 decades, those questions have returned with her. What do you think? Is her return a victory for free expression, or does it reopen old wounds? Well, share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this explainer, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more such conversations around politics, policy, and also society.